Oh, goodness. Good Tuesday morning. It rained yesterday. We got about a half an inch. It's Tuesday, October 21st. I got that all serviced yesterday, 50-hour service and whatnot. So that's ready. Boy, the wind the other day blew a bunch of crap in there on the floor. It's a little after 9, waiting for the plants to dry off just a little. You can tell by the shiny lawn there. It's still a little moist. So going to address a few things this morning while waiting. All right, the first thing, if you order things off the Grumpy Farmer Apparel link, I'm not going to use people's names. I'm not bitching at anybody. I'm just trying to explain like I have in the past. If you order anything, give it 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to be 2 to 3 weeks before you get it. Could you get it before that? Possibly, but we don't know, Mad Moose, I should say, doesn't know what size everybody is. So it's not like there's a whole bunch of small, medium, large, extra large, 2X, 3X, etc. T-shirts and sweatshirts sitting around over there waiting for people to order. When you order, if your size happens to be there, you'll probably get yours a little quicker. But when you order, they order the product, get it in, do the design, ship it to you. All right, the new tumblers that are out, we're not stocking a whole bunch of those because it costs money. So when people order, they order some, get them in, put the designs on them, ship them out. So I'm just reiterating, minimum of 2 weeks, probably 2 to 3 weeks is going to take for you to get whatever you order. So just try and be patient. So what was some of the other things that I wanted to address? Questions. Oh, okay. Here's one. Let me go. Hang on. Switching hands. I'm a righty, not a lefty. Let me go to my video. Let me turn the volume down because you don't need to listen to me. Oh, your videos right there. I'm going to actually go over here on the bench. Put this down. Turn the light on. Put you down on my Pioneer book here. Okay, the comments. I've had people ask, I go to the video and I don't see the comments. I see that hype thing. All right, so here's the comments. It comes up. If you swipe, if the hype thing comes up, there it is. Like that video has 53,550 points. Just swipe sideways and you'll get to the comments. There's actually a third thing too, which I don't have a clue what that is. Get answers, explore topics. But the point is, swipe sideways, you will get to the comments. So this whole hype thing, I don't know what it's about. I mean, the more points I get, the more the video gets pushed out, I guess. So if you do push hype, I appreciate it. If you don't, whatever. But yeah, just swipe sideways and that gets you to the comments. Because I've had a few people contact me about that, saying, I can't see the comments or make a comment. So that's all you got to do is swipe sideways and you get to the comments. It's funny, people actually know who, we have each other's phone numbers. One of my buddies texted me yesterday morning while I was greasing that thing. He goes, YouTube won't let me see the comments. I go, I didn't get back to him immediately because I was greasing and covered in grease. And I got back to him like 10 minutes later. I go, you got to swipe sideways. He goes, yeah, I figured it out between the time that I sent the text and you got back to me. Okay, another thing that I want to, hang on. Jeff Ramo, the One Happy Farmer on YouTube. Him and I were texting last night. Because it's funny, I told him, I had to go to his text. I told him, I said, yeah, our local rag paper here, the Citizen, they did an article about soybean farmers, and they interviewed a person in our county, a farmer in our county. I'm just going to leave that one alone. The headline was something about how bad soybean farmers were hurting. So anyways, where is it, Jeff? Right here. Okay, where was the one that you texted me? Okay, right there. Yesterday, October 20th, 2025. the Cabot, the CBOT, the market. Soybeans closed at $10.31 a bushel. Last year, October 20th, 2024, before there was even an election, before Trump was president, while, Biden was still president, before all the China talk and the tariff bullshit and everything, they were $9.81 a bushel. $10.31 a bushel yesterday they closed at. A year earlier on October 20th, 2024, $9.81 a bushel. 50 cents a bushel more. But yet all the China tariffs, But we're out interviewing, the media is just yucking it up, out interviewing farmers that are bitching about how horrible. Yes, those prices aren't good. Yes, our input costs are too much. Were they more than last year? I'm going to keep saying it, whether you like it or not. Here, no, they weren't. So, like Jeff on his YouTube channel and on his Instagram, Jeff's pretty damn good at, he sends a load of corn or beans and he always tries to get right around 1,000 bushel in his trailer. And he's pretty damn good at getting pretty close to that 1,000 bushel. So for every 1,000 bushel load at 50 cents more, that's an extra $500 more per load he's getting this year than last year. I'm just pointing these things out. Corn yesterday closed at 423 3/4. Yes, don't ask. It's like gas with their bullshit 9/10 thing, Gas is 289.9. So's grain. That's the way they do it. But yesterday closed at 423, 4.2375, which means $4.23 3/4. Last year, same day, 409. I'm just pointing these things out. People can, tell me I'm lying about how the prices are better this year than they were last year at this time. And it's all because you want to blame Trump for everything, just like the media, just like our local rag wanting to. I wish they'd come and fucking interviewed me, but no. They interviewed a certain somebody else, and I'm just, like I said, going to leave that one alone. But Jeff said St. Louis, where, he takes a lot of stuff, was 440 yesterday for corn, 415 a year ago. I'm just pointing it out. I feel like there was one other thing, too, that I wanted to clarify or point out this morning, but damn it, I can't think of what it was. Anyways, Barb and I got to get, when she comes out, the corn auger set up, because they're going to start getting some of the corn that I've got sold. Oh, I know one thing that people wanted. A number of people have asked, and I'm not going to do it today. I'll do it on a rainy day. They basically were asking, like, the monitor I can do while I'm in there picking, but they wanted to know how the machine worked. So maybe on a rainy day, I'll flip the side panels up, take the inside panels off, show you where the rotors are and, the sieves and how the corn or beans, whatever it is, goes back and whatnot. But I'm not doing that, on a day when we're going to get started here in a little bit. I'll do it on a rainy day. But the monitor, somebody asked about, well, if your monitor reads 200 bushel, you need to explain how that's not really 200 bushel because it's 23% corn and you're drying it down to, like 14.8 to 15. No, the monitor is showing you dry bushels per acre. You can see, I'll show you, like I said, when I'm picking that, where it says right on the monitor, dry bushels per acre. So, like when I say that field averaged 175 bushel to the acre, that field averaged, according to the combine's calculations, 175 dry bushel to the acre. The one on top of the hill, yeah, about 30 bushel less, because it just wasn't as good a field. So, which, like I've been explaining, you can see hill, yeah, hills, gravel ground, clay knobs, stuff like that, not as good because of our lack of moisture. So, but as far as how the combine works, that's a rainy day thing. Just had to go to the local hardware and buy another tarp, Because when I went and got the hopper out for that auger, there was no tarp with it, so obviously we threw it away last year, and I didn't remember that. So I remember one more thing that I wanted to discuss, get these things over with before we actually get in the field. Okay, you've probably heard or noticed the national average price for gas has fallen under $3. Yet you still hear people bitching about how, Trump's not keeping his campaign promises. I don't get people with their instant gratification bullshit that things are supposed to happen like that. But it's the first time it's fallen under a national average of $3 a gallon since, guess when? Oh yeah, back when Trump was in office before. So he's finally getting things, Anyways, beef prices. I was discussing in the comments from a couple videos ago with a beef farmer who, Trump made the comment about trying to lower the beef prices in the store to the consumers and, and we get Argentina beef brought into this country all the time, folks, just so you know, and Mexico beef, although I guess we've curtailed Mexico because of, what was it, screw worm or something? I don't know, getting my cigar that I left over here. Some disease or something so we've stopped the whole Mexico thing. But my point to all this is, I get it, beef farmers. When Trump started talking about stabilizing the prices in the stores, your prices dropped some. And you've been having some awesome record prices, which is great because you, just like crop farmers, have gone through your shitty times too. But we need stabilization because you know as well as I do, whether you want to admit it or not, you can't sustain those astronomical prices that you're getting. High prices will lead to less consumption. People aren't going to buy as much beef in the store, which is going to lead to your prices crashing back down. It's like I've said before, if our input costs stayed where they are right now, which are too high for the price that we're getting, but I could get $5.25 to $5.50 a bushel for my corn, and I don't know, somewhere between $12 and $13 a bushel for my beans. I could make a living, a decent living, pay the bills, help the economy out by spending money, stuff like that. You know damn well if your beef prices were reasonable, where you could make a living, pay your bills and all that, it would be a win-win all around. If somebody asked me in the comments, well, wouldn't you love $6, $7 corn again? Yeah, that'd be great, other than the fact that, like I've explained in previous videos, and some of you get pissed off, but I'm going to keep explaining it, the corporations would jack our input costs, and then when corn went back down to $4, those input costs would move like this to come back down. So, no, I'd rather have stabilization, because stabilization is what helps everyone. Everyone can make a living then. The people producing the product, the people who are processing the product and getting it out there and whatnot. But it just, I don't know. You got to admit that when Trump says something, tweets something, whatever, this market, all markets, go berserko for no reason. It's crazy. But yeah, the highs are great. The highs are great when you get them, but they're not sustainable. Just like the lows are not sustainable. But if you're somewheres in between, I'm just saying, you can argue with me, you can disagree, you can jump off the Trump train, you can still say gas is too high, whatever. I mean, it's like the numbers I just read you about the market. I can't help it. The facts are facts. You can look that shit up yourself. You don't have to believe me. So jump off the Trump train. Just make sure you tuck and roll. But 2-3 years from now, if the Trump train is just a rolling and things are awesome, don't open your mouth again. I mean, in 2 or 3 years, if the Trump train has wrecked and things are shitty, yeah, I got no problem whatsoever admitting that I guess I should have jumped off the Trump train too. But it is what it is, folks. The man's not a magician. But you can't deny the national average price of gas is now below $3 for the first time since 2020. Who was president then? Yep. I just read you the corn and bean prices between yesterday and a year ago when that wonderful sleep on the beach, shit in his pants guy was president? You can deny facts all you want. Oh, and like one more thing real quick, the whole no kings thing. I was watching some of that on Newsmax. You notice how funded they are? Some of the props that took God knows how much money and time to make that they were using. And there goes Jimbo. And how, like, at a certain time, okay, we're going to do this from 9 in the morning till 1. At 1, boom, they were gone. Yeah, that's because they were getting paid. They weren't going to get any overtime. So it's just, and when they're interviewed, they don't have a clue what they were protesting about, this whole no kings thing. Here's a newsflash, geniuses. If Trump was the dictator that you say he is, you wouldn't be protesting. Yeah, go to China and do that. Go to Russia, Venezuela, Cuba. Do you need me to go on? See how many of those protests go on there, geniuses. All right, we have the field behind my house opened up. We got one truck loaded. I go up and back. We'll have another one. Then we're gonna go dump so I can do a moisture test because it's saying, like I said, saying it's a little over 25, and I don't know if that's true. So, but you can see what the wind has done. Mostly it's just tops. I have seen some spots where there's actually corn leaning on the other row. I've seen a couple ears on the ground, not many. But to answer a question, might have been something I should have mentioned earlier. There were so many questions, but yeah, leaving it sitting in the field to dry down. I'm not going to say it's not going to dry down more in the field, but we're in the 50s all this week. Chances of rain multiple days, 40s at night, some 30s. I mean, you know, you guys in the Midwest are 10, 15 degrees warmer than us. So it just, yeah. And then the other thing, this field is yielding phenomenal. But you see how that says yield dry and the number bounces all around. Then it says BU/AC. That's bushels per acre for you non-farmers. That's what it's yielding. The field so far has yielded 227. So when it's bouncing around like that, like going up this hill, it drops down on the flat, it's way better. As you can tell, you can just look at this and see, kind of like what I was showing you in that field over there, that this isn't as good a corn. And there we go, we're going to drop down below 200. So yeah, that's the variation this year. But as far as the moisture, like I said, I'm not saying it won't dry down more, but it's pushed, you know, it's the 21st of October. It's kind of go time, because you look at the long range forecast and I don't see a lot of premium drying weather, natural drying weather to get it down below 20, and we don't usually get down below 20 much anyhow. It's all about the area you live in, the climate you live in. We got Lake Ontario and the Canadians pushing us down cold air. No, I'm not bitching about you Canadians, at least not the 99% of you, like I mentioned in a previous video. It just is what it is. And I don't want too many more windstorms. The more naked this gets, the easier it is to blow over. So we're going. So let's go unload a couple trucks and see where we stand as far as moisture and whatnot. Here I'll film Barb loading. Hang on, I'm gonna climb up here a little. Try not to fall on my ass. Look, it's Barb. Now the pressure's on, she doesn't screw up. Alright, you get the gist. Oh. Now we're gonna go unload trucks. Alright, there's some corn in the pail. There's also the propane truck. And the guy going over to fill, so that's why I'm not starting this yet. But anyways, yes, the combine's right. It's around 25%. This tester here had it at high 24s. Anyways, it's not a huge difference than what we've been doing. But what I really liked was the test weights between 54 and 55 pounds being that wet, which means it should pick up another pound or two when it's a couple pounds when it gets dried down. So once he's done filling with propane, we'll get started. All right, we are back at it. So a little lunch update because it's 12:30. Actually, it's later than that. Tuna fish. Pringles. What time is it? Actually, it's 1:45. So the combine was actually making it. It is around 25%. Let's put it that way. So I think it's getting drier as we go in, but actually now the combine is making it lower. So yes, the outside was a little wetter. The yield is very good though. Filling my face, so bear with me. And like I said over there, the test weight is better than I figured it would be this year, so I am happy. Alright, I thought of one of the other questions that you non-farmers asked. How do you know if you're leaving any in the field, or you know what's going out the back of the combine? Well, first of all, you can look and see, because us farmers, we get out multiple times and when we're setting a combine and whatnot. But we also have these, at least I do, these 3 cones, 3 different places where it shows losses. I'm having very minimal losses at the moment. So, which is what you shoot for, obviously. The sample is wicked clean. This is a 99.55 is the number, Pioneer. Wicked good corn so far. And that's what's over there, you know, down the road and up back is more. But all does this good. I wish I had ordered more, but yeah, so it's doing very well. Now I'm gonna go eat my lunch. So I'm taking my last pass, my 3rd time around the headland on the bottom here. You can see spots like that where it didn't do so good because the raccoons ate the living shit out of it. So the yield has dropped a little, not much. But you can also see the sky is starting to. So I had Barb look on the radar. Yeah, there's some thin line of showers over towards Buffalo way, that way, that looks like it could get here in another hour, hour and a half. I hope it goes away before it gets here. I don't know. That's our whole week's worth of weather though. Chance of beautiful like you saw earlier, and then showers, and it's crazy. But so far the field has averaged 222 bushel to the acre. That's phenomenal for the year we've had. Here we are going over one of these gravelly knobs where if it all looked like this, yeah, that would be really sucky. But luckily it doesn't all look like that. That's why that piece up on top of the hill, straight across from the shop there over here to us, didn't do so well. A lot of hill to go up over. And the combine, now that I'm out into the field, it does have it down in the 23s, so yeah, it's drier now.
I'll combine corn all fall that's 23 and be satisfied. So I know some people wouldn't, but we're not. We ain't gonna get super dry corn. So especially when it keeps raining every other day or every day for some period of time like they're talking. I have had 2 things happen that I hope don't happen again. All of a sudden my concave spacing, which I'll explain all that in a video when I show you how the combine works, the non-farmers that have asked. All of a sudden it said not in command position. I looked, yep, sure enough, it had opened itself. I normally run about 1 3/8 inch. It was up to 1.5 inches. And I had my upper sieve all of a sudden go from 1/2 inch to 11/16. I put them back, they're staying. Hoping we don't have a gremlin coming on again, but yeah, I've always said for those combines that are completely automated, that all the sieves move on their own, you know, it decides if it needs to open them up, close them, something like that. Any company that wants to bring me one of them fancy ass combines and try it on our ground, which is, I could have got that stuff on this combine. I didn't want it because we're constantly up a hill, down a hill, sideways on a hill. I struggle to believe that that thing would move fast enough. I'm gonna go over and dump. Move fast enough to adjust. I'm 3/4 full anyhow. To our terrain. I mean, look at it. Up a hill, down a hill. Right through here, I'm on a side hill. Either way, if I'm going this way or coming back the other way. I just struggle that that shit could move fast enough to adjust. Like I said, John Deere, Fendt, whoever, New Holland, Case, anybody wants to bring one of them fancy ones out here and let's try it, we'll have a true test, because I won't show you how it's working great on the flat ground and it might not be on the not so flat ground. We'll show you that too, but nobody's ever going to bring me a combine. So alright, I'm going to show you a few of the cool little gadgets here. Like I told you, here's 3 cones that show your loss. This back one is your sieves, which is in the picture there by the 2.5 inches. Those little graded things, which I'll show you that in a future video. But like right now, going across this side hill, let's see, I think it's 4, yeah. See, it shows combine lateral tilt, 5.6 degrees, 6.2 degrees, 6 degrees. You know, that means we're sloping this way because of the hill. Well, those little grate things called sieves for you non-farmers in the back, those adjust for the side hill. So I do have some of the fancy stuff on this. So when we're on a side hill like this, the sieves are going to tilt themselves this way to level out. That way all your corn's not flowing to one side and getting shit out the back of the combine, which is why the loss monitor doesn't go way up into that cone, showing that you're pumping corn out the back. There was some of the fancy things that I didn't get, like I still get out, go and put my bin extensions up and my auger. When I get done, I have to, before I can go down the road or park it in the shop, go up, put them back down. I didn't want to spend the thousands of dollars more for the push the button and make it do it. The older I get, the more of a pain in the ass it is. So if this is my last combine, maybe in a few years I have that added on. If I get another combine before I retire, because yes folks, I will retire, I'll get one with that on. The older, like I said, the older I get, the harder it gets. But some of the fancier stuff is standard today. But that's also a wicked nice feature, because I never had to slow down going up over that hill. Where the older combines that don't have adjustable sieves and stuff, you gotta slow down so you're not pumping corn out the back. This way you can keep going at a constant speed. So I'm just going up and back and dumping on the cart because I'm 3/4 full, because she's running trucks over and dumping them. So I have enough in the cart for her when she gets back. She fills the truck, takes it over and dumps it. So this is our system for the day, because like I said, I'm 3/4 full going up and back. She's just parking here in the headland. She's heading over to go dump a truck. She emptied the cart this time, so the Freightliner's got some on it. Eventually, when we get like not right here next to the shop and whatnot, I'll get my buddy John to come help. He's been busy lately hunting and whatnot, so I told him we can get along without him for now. And like I said, I don't know what Mother Nature's got in store for us the next hour or so here. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, so far, phenomenal field. I don't know what it is about this 12-acre piece behind my house. Those of you who've been with me for the last 3-4 years know I say every year, this is my best corn and my best beans, this one field. Don't ask me why. Years and years ago, some of this was pasture when my dad had dairy, so cow shit for years, I guess. I don't know, but I'll put this field up against anybody's. It's phenomenal what this field does every year. All right, fold her up, go back and get some more.
All right, we can end our day with taking the first load of corn out. I always hate corn in the bin. It's always a dusty one to start with. Barb's dumping the last truck for the day. I don't know how full the wet bin is, but it's got to be getting up there. Well, I don't see the bottom eye off yet, but anyway, we're done for the day because, yeah, dust. Sweet. So I gotta go over and take care of my mother after I load this truck so she can go to bed. And he's taking this to, it's called Keystone Mills feed mill in the morning and coming back for another load. So I might just end this video too. Here's your one more thing. Don't forget to push on the Grumpy Farmer Apparel link. And when you order your apparel, make sure you realize it could be 2 or 3 weeks. And we'll see you in the next one. All right, I'm in the truck. I just went over and took care of my mother. I'm heading to the house. The sky don't look so good that way. Here's a second more thing. There's some Prime packages. Yeah, I really don't give a shit what your feeling is about Prime, so you can save it. If you make a comment, as soon as I see, why are you buying from Prime, I'm gonna skip your comment, but whatever. I pull in her yard to get her mail. Prime van sitting right there in front of the barn. Now this is an actual Prime van because they hire individuals too. This lady gets out and she's delivering it to set it on the front steps of the barn there. These are paper bag packages. So I look at her and I go, well, what are you doing? Well, I said, we've put it in 1,000,000 times, Barb has. House with a deck with a white, railing and whatnot. Because when 911 changed our addresses years ago because of 911, apparently Prime with, GPS and all that, ain't got enough brains to figure out that when you got a house there, which you can't see, it's around the corner of the shed here, and a house over there, oh, here comes the genius. Who the fuck would deliver to a barn? Huh? I'm just curious. This genius getting ready to drive by right now. That's who would deliver to a barn, apparently. Yeah. Yeah. Her. She'd deliver to a barn. Because, that barn obviously looks occupied with human beings, right? I mean, you walk in it, you can tell it's not even occupied with animals. But let's sit the shit out front on that step so it can get all soaking ass wet. Oh, we got some stupid people in the workforce today. Really stupid. If it was me and I was confused, I'd at least drop it off at one of the 2 houses.